Hello world, my name is Byron Carter, or Guitar, if I decide to put this on YouTube, which I might. And I want to show you step by step how to fix an issue with the Unreal Engine 4 Lightmap UV overlapping error. It happens a lot more than what you probably would think, and it's a little more of a specialized issue that is a little hard to pinpoint exactly how to fix. You can Google a lot of tutorials on how to fix it, and there's usually multiple steps you need to take in order to get a surefire way to fix this issue. So that's what I'm going to do today. I went through all the trouble of going through about, I don't know, 50 tutorials on different things and how to fix this issue, and really, I'm going to just show you in a concise way from, again, beginning to end how to fix this issue in just one fell swoop. So, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in a FBX and see. I'm going to set everything back to default the way it was. So I'm going to turn on this generate lightmap UVs. We'll get back to that in a second. And hit import. So, it's my mesh. Bam. Bench press. Looks nice. So, what I'm going to do is go ahead and build the lighting. And with any luck, this one will probably give an error. Yep, here we go. Light map UVs are overlapping by 4.4%. Please adjust content. Now, 4.4% is actually pretty small. You may not even notice where it is. I'm actually not seeing where it is right now, which is kind of unfortunate. Because sometimes you can have it where it's overlapping by like 90 something percent, and it looks like your mesh is infected with like some kind of mold from Resident Evil 7 or something, and it looks just awful. So, how do we want to fix this? Well, there's a few things we can do. One quick and dirty way to fix it is if you go into your mesh's details, and right here where it says mobility, it should be default to static. You can set it to movable, and this will pretty much tell Unreal, hey, don't look at the light map for this mesh. It's going to be moving around all the time, so there's no reason to try to bake any lighting into it. And Unreal is going to say, cool, I'll ignore it. But at a caveat, I'm also going to make it so that this is going to render a bit slower. It's not by too much, but it's slow enough that you don't really need to do that if you don't have to. Again, this is a quick fire way to fix this issue. It's not recommended because it's not going to have any of that really nice lighting that Unreal is just really good at generating from its light source. And one of the reasons that you want to use Unreal is just because of the photorealistic way that it can render stuff in a game engine. And another reason why you don't want to do this is you can probably think back to a game where it's been really dark, maybe like one of the Thief games, and you're walking around and you're trying to figure out how to get to the next room. And as you're walking around, you see a bookcase that just looks off. Like the coloring and the lighting just looks different than all the other bookcases. The surefire way that that bookcase is supposed to move and your exit's behind that bookcase. So, you kind of the developers who did that didn't really kind of told you, hey, this bookcase is going to move. Once you figure out the way to move it, come back here and then you can go. So that's not good. You don't want to, you want everything to remain concise and consistent with one another. So I'm going to move this back to static. And we're actually going to open the bench press UV, and it opened over here. All right, so this is the information about this mesh, everything that you need to know about it. To be honest, a lot of this, come on, a lot of this stuff you're probably not gonna look at too much. But what we want to look at is the UV tab right here. And we have UV channel 0, UV channel 1. Under UV channel 0, this is your UVs that you're using to texture your mesh. This should look the same as it does in your 3D modeling program that you use. If it doesn't, you kind of have some problems. But this UV channel 1, this is the UV channel that Unreal generated itself to make the UV light map. If we click it, as you can see, we have some of this going on. I'm not really sure what this even is, and it's just going over different stuff. So this is where the 4.4% is overlapping on this mesh. So how do we want to fix this? Well, what we want to do is you want to go to your 3D modeling software. I have 3ds Max here, and here we have our mesh. Now, what you want to do is you want to, once you click on your mesh, you want to go to your modifier list, type in UN for and go to your unwrap UVW right here. Click on that. And the first thing you want to do is you want to come down to your channels. Channels will be right under edit UVs. And right here where it says map channel, it should say 1. If it doesn't say 1, then that's a problem. But it should say 1. What this means is this map channel is pretty much telling, when you import it into Unreal, it's telling, hey, Unreal, this map channel 1, this is my map channel that I'm using to texture. Please don't do anything with it. And Unreal will say, okay, cool. What you want to do is change this to map channel 2. And you're going to get this change or channel change warning. And what this is saying is, hey, you're making a new UV map. I'm 3ds Max and I'm going to do you a solid, and I'm going to just copy over your UV map that you have from your first channel onto this one so you don't have to go through and re-UV again. Is that cool? And yeah, that's cool. So we're going to hit move. Now this light map channel 2 is the one that when you import it into Unreal, Unreal is gonna, you're pretty much telling Unreal, hey, Unreal, light or map channel 1, my UVs, don't bother that. Map channel 2, this is the light map. Use this to generate the light maps. And Unreal will say, okay, cool. So we're gonna open the UV editor, and as you can see, it took my UVs from the first one and copied it over to this one. Now, this looks pretty much okay. There doesn't look like there's anything overlapping, but you never know. So, what we're going to do is in here, we're going to grab everything, and we're going to hit Pack Normalize. Our 3ds is going to think a little bit about what it's doing, about its life choices. It's hopefully not going to crash, because that would be awful. It's gonna continue to think. Oh. Okay, I think it, yeah, alright, there we go. It finished. So, here we go. This is it packed normalized. Now, we're not quite done, because 3ds has a tendency when you pack normalize to take some of your faces or your polys and flip them upside down. And that's not great. So to see if 3ds has done this, what we're going to do is up here, we're going to go to select and select inverted polygons. And as you can see, yeah, there's some stuff that's flipped upside down, unfortunately. which is fine. To flip them right side up, what we're going to do is right here in your tool tab, you want to go to this section here. You don't want to click, you want to click and hold, and you're going to get this drop down. And I don't remember what it's called, it doesn't always tell you. Will it tell me? It won't tell me. But you want to click this one that has the planes on top of each other and the arrow flipping downward, which this pretty much means, it might tell me here, yeah, flip horizontally selected sub-objects. So it's taking your mesh, it's taking those faces and just flipping them over right side up. Now, as you can see, it overlapped a bunch of stuff, and as I explained before, Unreal is going to throw an Unreal fit at you if you try to give it this. So, what we're going to do is select everything, and let's hit pack together. Yeah. It should be fine. It's a little tight in there though. So let's bump this down. And let's pick pack together again. Ooh. Let's bump this up. Whoa. Whoa. Alright, I guess we're going to skip 3. We're going to go to 4. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little... It's a little better. Let's go ahead and scale it down to get it inside of here. Alright. That should be fine. Hopefully we won't have to go through this multiple times. I'm a little concerned about this piece here. What is that? Ah, it's that. That is cause for concern actually, because it's flipped it sideways and it's not supposed to look like that, definitely. So, go ahead and select it again. Let's hit pack normalize. Let's go ahead and select inverted polys again. Didn't invert as many. I'm gonna flip them, select everything. But this time, let's hit pack custom. Yeah, everything's a little tighter in there, but it should be fine. This should be a lot better. So let's go ahead and close that. Go ahead, right click, collapse all. Always hold yes, never just hit yes. Only hit no when at the last second you realize, oh dang, I forgot something, which happens. Go to import or export. Let's go, oh, let's go bench press and bench press LM for Lightmap. Hit OK, leave everything default. Alright, so let's go back to Unreal for an Unreal good time. Oh my goodness. That was the wrong button. Alright, and let's go and get our benchpress.lm. So I dragged it in. Before we hit import, what you need to do next is under here at mesh, you want to drop down to show advanced. And what you want to pay attention to is, as I stated before, this generate lightmap UVs. Again, this is where you're telling Unreal, hey, take my UVs and generate a light map automatically. But we just made our light maps in our 3D modeling program. So we're going to go ahead and take this off. And then we can hit import. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this in. Let's open this up. Our UV1, which is nice. And this is our light map. Again, things are pretty tight in here. Hopefully this doesn't throw an error. It shouldn't. It might. But there's also something else. If it does, there's something else that we can do to try to alleviate any overlapping UVs. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit build lighting. And I'm going to listen to my laptop take off. And actually, we don't need to worry about it. As you see, bench press UVD has overlapping UV still, but bench press LM is not up here, which means the light maps are not overlapping. So, good. That is pretty much the way that you want to go about fixing that issue. Now, I did mention another thing that you can do to try to fix the issue of light maps if this doesn't work. And what we're going to do is back into the details of the bench press. What we're going to do is go, this is normally closed. What you want to do is go to LOD0, which is it's the third section down, or yeah, category down. And you want to open up build settings. And under build settings, you're going to get to here, where it's set, where it's your minimum light map resolution. This is default to 64. Now, the engineers at Epic Games who made the Unreal Engine, they recommend bumping this up to 256. 256 is really big. It can slow down processing power of Unreal. It's not by too much, but if you have a lot of stuff that has a light map of 256, it can bog down the system. But what we're gonna do is, well, we'll do it here on the first one that is overlapping to see just what it does, if it does anything. So we're gonna bump this up to 256. And we're going to hit apply changes. And actually, there's one other thing we need to do. Our source light map index. This is telling Unreal which map are we using. It's currently set to 0. So we should probably change this to 1. Well, let's leave it to 0 because I can already see right here is doing some crazy stuff. But under general settings, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th category down, there's another light map resolution. You can change this to 256 as well, and then hit save. Now let's go ahead and build the lighting again. As I said, this probably isn't going to do anything for the first one because it's a light map generated by Unreal, and as you could see, it had stuff that was just crossing over stuff blatantly. Yeah, it actually increased it by 0.6%, but still, it doesn't seem like it's too bad. And a lot of this stuff is subject to each mesh individually. Sometimes you'll have meshes that are not as complex as this, that you can do the process that I just showed you, and you'll be fine. While you have other meshes that may have material like 4 or 5 material IDs on one thing that needs to just kind of sit there, and you're going to have to tweak a lot of these values with the light map resolution a little bit more. You're going to have to fine tune it, or even go into 3ds Max and or your 3D modeling software and fiddle with the UV light map that you're trying to generate a little bit more. It can be a little difficult because again, it depends on the mesh and it will depend on how much you have to do. But it is very much doable, and as I showed you, this is a surefire way from start to finish how to fix it. So, thankfully, hopefully I saved somebody out there a huge chunk of time on trying to figure this out and avoiding having to watch about 50 tutorial videos and try to piece them all together to figure out what you need and what you don't need. But again, hopefully this helps somebody. But yeah, always happy to help. Probably gonna end up making some more tutorial videos at some point, just to other stuff that I taught myself how to do things in, maybe with Substance, maybe with 3ds Max in general. Ooh, voice crack, boy. But Again, my name is Byron Carter, or Guitar, that if I'm really gonna start using that. And here was my Unreal Engine 4 Lightmap UV overlap error fix from start to finish. Alright, I will catch you later.